Madget. This series of videos we're doing is focused on terms for the that are used within the FCRA. So what I want to do is just walk through some of the preliminary terms that you'll run into when reviewing the FCRA. So first of all, we have the FCRA itself, right? I'm going to do reverse order here because I like to be interesting. So we've got the FCRA, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Okay, so, and that's the law itself. That's 15 USC 1681 is the citation, and you can go and if you Google the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the FTC has a document which I think for the layperson is particularly good in that it allows you to just see the text of the FCRA. And as you get into our video series, you'll see quickly that text isn't always interpreted exactly how the plain reading of the law would look, but nonetheless, it at least is a helpful starting point, and I would encourage anybody to look at the text of the FCRA itself. That's the laws of our country. It's a federal law versus a state law, and the text of that law kind of gives you a starting point, and many of the terms used within there are clarified through something we call case law, and the case law clarifies a lot of the terms within the FCRA. It clarifies the interpretation of how ambiguities within the statute are to be interpreted. So case law is kind of a layer that goes on top, and that's where you'd have to actually read the case and figure out, well, what does this seemingly plain language actually mean? And quickly you'll discover there's additional complexity to it at times, and things aren't always as they seem. And so you utilize both case law as well as the black letter or text of the statute itself. But for simplicity, if you look up the FCRA and you get that FTC guide that is out there, that is just a very helpful starting point of just reviewing the law and just kind of getting generalized ideas of what does this actually cover. And it goes from everything from the purpose of enacting the FCRA, which is kind of an interesting deal. It's not what you would think. It's not the dispute process. It's actually a privacy statute at its heart, down to what duties are required of a furnisher in investigating a dispute, what duties are required of the consumer reporting agency itself when receiving a dispute. A lot of that stuff is specified right there in the text of the statute, so I'd encourage you to go and look at that. So that's the FCRA, that's the statute itself. We've got these other terms such as a furnisher, so that's the person who provides data to the consumer reporting agency. So that might be like Wells Fargo or Credit Acceptance Corp, a big car lender. It may be your bank or Barclays credit card or American Express. That's the person who's actually, again, providing that account data up to the CRAs. And then there's this term CRA. CRA stands for Consumer Reporting Agency, which is that organization that we know as TransUnion, Experian, Equifax. Those are referred to as the big three. There are hundreds of actual CRAs throughout the country, but everybody knows the big three. And that big three is kind of changing to actually incorporate another one. I believe it's called Intellitus, so it's kind of turning almost to the big four. But nonetheless, that's what a CRA is. And CRA, again, stands for Consumer Reporting Agency, not Credit Reporting Agency. I misuse the term. Everybody misuses the term. I'm sure there are dozens of motions I've argued in federal court where I'm calling it throughout a credit reporting agency. Easy mistake to make. It's actually a consumer reporting agency as defined in the statute, but everybody inevitably calls it the wrong thing. And for clarity, try to use consumer, but it's a fairly forgivable mistake, I would say. So those are kind of just the super high level terms, and we will, in our upcoming videos, we'll continue to dig into some of these terms further and give you additional acronyms all over the place. And we'll also specify a variety of other terms we'll find within the FCRA.